Alrighty. Turn that off. Alrighty. Give me one quick second. Just to see if I'm running. Pretty sure I am. No. All right. Screw it. Alrighty, can you guys? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I know there isn't a lot happening right now, but oh, there, turn that off. Okay. So, what a day, huh? Welcome, welcome to this late night rambling stream that involves what we heard earlier today. So, if you haven't heard, around 12 hours ago, the CFL announced sweeping, radical changes that basically kills the Canadian game as it stands right now. I mean, that's the reason why I'm wearing a black shirt with little fucking mess there, but that's okay. But anyway, yeah. I mean, there isn't much for me to say. Just give me one second here. I just want to get this. Just want to kind of get this shared, if I may. Sorry I'm late, by the way. Stupid work. No. We're not going to delete nothing. No, we're not going to do that either. Yeah, sorry. Like I said, I just want to share this. I'm just going to try and see if I can share the link here. Stream settings. What the hell is... that's annoying. Yeah, sorry, just like I said, just bear with me here for a second before we get started. There we go. Now we're talking. There we go. All right. Just wanted to put that on Blue Sky. All right. So, okay. So, like I said, 12 hours ago, the CFL put something up. Basically, like I said, something that kills the game that we know right now and is going to usher in a whole new era. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, most of the changes that they're actually kind of looking at are actually not that bad, you know. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Sorry if I'm kind of, like I said, I had everything going here, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh crap. Now I just lost everything. Oh, here we go. Live control room. That's what I want. There we go. Now, all right. Oh, hey, Mav. Good to see you again. Well, that's why we're here, to try and make heads and tails of this. So, Well, I think first off, let's just go right to the. Let's just get right into the. Excuse me. Let's just go right into the video itself. Just give me 1 second here. Just gotta do some quick little. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. Oh crap! I just fucked it up. All right. So, see how this looks. Probably looks really stretched, doesn't it? But, I mean, I'm basically what I'm gonna do. This right here that we're gonna watch here. This is what the CFL has put up. So, turn the desktop audio on. So, hang on. Okay, there we go. So, hopefully you'll be able to hear it, but just give me 1 quick second here. That's not what I want to do. Okay, well, Okay, give me once. Like I said, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, so just bear with me. Oh, that's yeah. What the hell is going on here? Of course, why is my live video not popping up on here? Yeah. All right, you know what? Hang on. Let's get out of this for a second. All right. So anyway, okay. So like I said, kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. So what we're gonna do? First, we're gonna watch this this video here, and title of it is "Tradition Meets Innovation." CFL announces major changes to the game. So it's pretty obvious that. I mean, the game. I mean, I am of the side here where the game needs to grow, the game needs to evolve. We're basically, when you have a league that hasn't really has been bouncing around 8 or 9 teams since its inception over 70 years ago, and you haven't really done much since. And of course you've had contractions when teams go away, like say just recent examples, when the Ottawa Rough Riders went under, when the Alouettes went under the first time. And then you have them coming, then you obviously have them coming back, as Ottawa came back as the Red Blacks, and the Alouettes came back after the failed CFL experiment when Baltimore moved back north. So the league has relatively been around 9 teams, there or thereabouts, since the league was formed in 1958. You take a look at other sports leagues in and around the same that have been around the same amount of time. They've all expanded like crazy. Like the NHL went from 6 teams to, where are they now? 32. NFL has gone up, and they've had the same amount of same kind of sine wave of expansion and contraction as well. Baseball, same thing. Everybody has gone on a on a track of growth, and CFL's remains steady. So if this helps, Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, enough of me rambling on about that. Let's get on to this.
For generations, the Canadian Football League has thrilled fans with its speed, skill, and pace of play. It is a game built on tradition, yet never afraid to evolve. Now, the CFL is taking the next step in its evolution. A series of bold strategic changes designed to elevate the action, enhance the viewer experience, and
Okay, let's stop here for a second because this kind of sets everything up here. So the changes that you're going to see next year, as you can see, modified Rouge, automatic play clock, T-bench locations. And then 2027 changes is obviously everything else that has to do structurally from this. So let's all right, Mr. CFL, talk to me.
Position the league for the future. These updates will create more highlight-worthy plays, improve sightlines, and deliver more entertainment. Change 1, goalposts and field size. The goalposts will shift from the front of the end zones near the goal line to the back of the end zones. Repositioning the goalposts removes an obstruction for the players and for the in-stadium and broadcast viewers. This change allows quarterbacks to use the entire end zone to their advantage. Historically, the placement of the goalposts has largely removed the middle of the end zone for quarterbacks. By shifting the goalposts, offenses will have the entire end zone to work with unobstructed. This will also remove the goalposts as an obstacle for teams operating deep in their own territory, or for defensive players covering receivers in the end zone. With the goalposts shifting to the back of the end zone.
Okay. Let me just stop here for a second. So, the goalposts being at the front of the end zone has been something that's been around since the game was rugby. Okay? So, and I remember I saw clips from way back when they used to kick the converts, they kicked it from the back of the end zone. They kicked it from the back of the end zone and going the opposite direction. So, to me, I mean, based off of what they explained there, I don't see any harm. That's okay. I'm sure there's more. Let's continue.
Zones. The end zones themselves will be shortened from 20 yards to 15 yards. This will help mitigate the impact on field goal kicking, while still delivering a larger end zone than other forms of football. In addition to the...
Okay. Now, to me, this is a non-issue. To me, this is a non-issue because at BMO Field, they weren't able to run the full-size end zones anyway. They weren't able to run the full-size end zone. I believe BMO Field's end zones were only 17 yards. And then if you go to, I think, Montreal, theirs had the corners chopped off. So, to me, once again, this is fine so far. I'm cool with it.
Reduced size of the end zones, the field will be condensed to 100 yards.
This is the contentious point. I know there is an awful lot, and I mean there is. I've read that there's. I mean. Here's the like. I had to dig a little deeper, not as to why, but. I mean, your total playing, right? You got 15. So 15 plus 15, that's 30. So you got 130 yards here. So you're shaving, so 130. So you're shaving a little bit off. From a Toronto perspective, to me this says that in the south end zone in particular, you could put those 5 rows of seats back in and keep them there. That's the first thing I think of. So you can actually make it so if you don't know, in the south end zone, they have to take, in order for it to fit the Canadian football field, they have to take the first 5 rows of seats out of the south end zone. Okay? So where I sit, right on the rail, is row 6. With them going this, I can see them putting those, I can see the Argos putting those 5 rows of seats in the south end zone back in. So that's one, for me, that's one good thing. Another thing that a lot of people don't seem to talk about, and I had to take some time to wrap my head around this as well. You can now fit a CFL field into any soccer stadium in North America. So, bear with me here. If you're Montreal and McGill is giving you the shaft, you don't think Pierre-Carl Pelado is going to call up Joey Saputo and say, "Hey, can I move the Owls into Stade Saputo?" With this, he can do it. If you're Calgary, we all know anyone who's actually been to McMahon Stadium knows it's a shithole. As opposed to spending billions of dollars to raise it to the ground and rebuild it, you could just take the team and go to where Cavalry play, out in Spruce Meadows. If you're the BC Lions, and your attendance is still rather low, and you can't get the attendance to go up, you don't think they'd move from BC Place out to where the Whitecaps are going to be moving to? And then think of the expansion. In particular, Halifax. They can, with the field this small, they can move it into the Wanderers' grounds. So ultimately, instead of building the stadium to fit the game, they shrunk the game to fit the stadium. Because most soccer stadiums in North America seat around 25,000. So with this, I'm thinking as I thought about it and took the emotion out of it and thought of it logically, this makes a shit ton of sense, especially if the goal is getting the 10th team or potentially getting an 11th or a 12th or a 13th or a 14th team. Finally getting the CFL onto a path where it's actually growing as opposed to just stagnating. So, yes, the optics are going to make it look similar to the gridiron that we see right now. But the upsides to it are going to outweigh that. That's what I think. Let's continue.
This means that offenses will be starting drives 10 yards closer to their opponent's end zone and only 5 yards further from a field goal, despite the shifted goalposts. Team decision-making on third down is heavily influenced by field position. Typically, third down decisions are mostly scrutinized between midfield and the opposing 40-yard line. By reducing the overall field length to 100 yards and pushing the goalposts to the back of the end zone, this decision zone expands, encouraging more aggressive third down attempts as teams push for touchdowns.
That's one thing that a lot of people don't seem to realize, because now if you kick it a 30, so if you get to the 35, that's going to be a 50-yard field. That's if you actually no, not the 35, because you got to account for the 7 yards back. So let's say the 30. Let's say you get to the 30. It's 3rd and 5. Right? So originally it would have been a 37-yard field goal for Liramira Lahu, no mistake. Absolutely none. But now, tactically, you have to think, okay, this is no longer going to be a 37-yard field goal. This is going to be like 52. You can kind of see where they're going there with that one. Let's continue.
Creating higher stakes plays that add decisive, entertaining moments to the game. Change 2. Rouge Rule redefined. The Rouge Rule gets a modern twist. Now, a single point is only awarded if the return team is tackled in the end zone or concedes voluntarily.
This should have been done decades ago. If I'm being perfectly honest. This should have been done decades ago. I'm sorry. And, I mean, people have been asking, like, I know awful lot of people have been asking for a revision to the Rouge. And to be quite, and I mean, they were right. I mean, yeah. No issue here. Continue.
No more points for missed kicks or punts, or kickoffs that sail or bounce out of the end zone. This eliminates a reward for failure, removing the risk of a game being won by a missed attempt. Kickers may also be encouraged.
Why'd they have to do Liram dirty like that? I continue.
Or kickoffs that sail or bounce out of the end zone. This eliminates a reward for failure, removing the risk
Did him dirty twice, had to show it again.
of a game being won by a missed attempt. Kickers may also be encouraged to keep the ball and play more, forcing returns and creating opportunities for cover teams to trap opponents in their end zone. Offenses lose the safety net of guaranteed points on deep kicks, shifting decision-making towards more aggressive third down attempts and precision kicking. Special teams coordinators gain an expanded tactical role as directional kicking, coverage schemes, and situational rouges become more meaningful parts of the game.
Notice that they never mentioned anything about Montreal's dribble kick. Might see that a lot more going forward. I continue.
Change 3, play clock reset. We're introducing an automatic play clock reset, keeping the urgency up, the tempo fast, the action flowing, and the game flow consistent. Previously, each play required the official to reset the field for the next play and blow in the start of a 20-second play clock. The reliance on the official to initiate the play clock led to variability play by play and game to game. By moving to a 35-second play clock that resets automatically after each play, the CFL's unique pace will be maintained with consistency across games.
Now, I can see where people we're going to get a little pissy about that because you're adding 15 seconds. To be quite honest, has anyone ever actually timed from whistle to snap? Think about it. Let's move on.
4, opposite sidelines. Teams will now occupy opposite sidelines in every stadium. This consistency improves visual presentation, reduces congestion, and streamlines player substitutions, as players will be closer to the play, regardless of where the spot of the ball is. It's a small shift with a big impact on game flow and presentation. These upgrades are designed to both honor tradition and embrace innovation. More touchdowns, cleaner visuals, smarter rules, a more entertaining game for everyone. Welcome to the new era of the Canadian Football League.
Okay. If you're a Toronto Argonauts fan and you go to BMO Field during the summer, you notice the smug faces popping up here? Because the first thing I'm doing is because the first thing is the visitors' bench is going on the east side of the stadium. If you've never been to BMO Field, during the summer, the sun will blaze the entire east stand, including the sideline. So in essence, the Miami effect. So if I were the Argos, and if that's the case, I am so pushing for 3 o'clock starts whenever Hamilton comes to town. Because you know we're putting them over there. Are you kidding me? Why are the Argos going to go on that side? We're not. Why would we do that? You know? Anyway. Yeah, see, yeah, like sorry, I haven't been able to take a look at the chat here. So other forms of football, you mean American football? Well, let's put it this way. They're not exactly talking Gaelic. They're not talking Gaelic football. They're not talking Aussie rules. So, yeah, they're probably going to be talking American, right? The field is becoming similar to American field specs. And you know what? See, I get. I mean, I understand it. I understand it's 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 hard. It's hard. It's hard. You know, it's hard to kind of describe. It's like, yeah, yeah. See, Bondi gets it. It's kind of like in Miami, they do the same thing. That's why I called it the Miami effect, because if in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, the visitor side, the sun just beats down on that one on the unshaded side, and Miami gets the shaded side. So it's like, and yeah, no, I mean, I get that. I totally understand, like getting making losing the quirkiness, right? But let's put it this way: we still have the no yards. We still have the waggle. We still have 3 downs. We still have 12 men on the field. We still have the wide field. Right? There's still a lot of things that make the CFL the CFL, right? The only difference is there's going to be certain I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand where I can like that. So that's the thing. I'm trying to rationalize it in my own head, and I'm trying to hopefully rationalize it for everybody else. You know what I mean? Anyway, where was I? Oh, whoops, wrong one. So there was more. So there was more to this, by the way. So it was pretty obvious that, like, you take a look online, everybody's just absolutely panning it. In particular, one starting quarterback absolutely torched it. Now I haven't fully heard this yet. So because I was at work when I first saw this. So let's listen.
New rule changes are garbage. It's garbage. I, as many people did, fans and people who play in this league, grew up watching the CFL and loving the game. I grew up in Ontario, played Canadian football rules all my life. Was aware of and was a fan of the league down there, but was a fan of the CFL because of its differences. I went down to the States, proud of the game, being able to explain the differences. The waggle, the yard, the extra person. These are the things that are unique about the game that make it different. And there's the rule changes to me make it sound like we want to be that league down south. We want to be that league. And from recent history and years past, leagues that have tried to emerge to try to be like the NFL haven't existed for very long. The CFL game has existed for longer than the NFL. And there's a reason for that. It's unique. The fans love it. I grew up loving this game. And they're changing that. They're getting rid of a lot of things. The worst part, I think, about it, honestly, is the fact that the people who play football, who have the football knowledge, were not consulted about this. The players weren't consulted, the coaches, management, nobody was consulted. This was done on their own accord. This was done independent of asking anyone who actually knows football what they want to do, what they think would be better. We have a commissioner who hasn't been here for a year, who's already trying to change the game. And I don't believe he loves football as much as I do, as much as many fans do, as much as people who grew up loving this game. I don't think you cannot make adjustments like this and tell me that you like football. you love the Canadian football game because you're changing it. And what we're moving towards is not the Canadian football game that I grew up loving, that I'm passionate about, that I came back and played. I went down and played in the NFL in that league, and I came back knowing that this is the game for me because of the uniqueness of it, what's special about it, and we're getting away from that, and that, frankly, makes me pretty pissed off.
Tell him where he's telling lies. Well, other than the fact that he came back up here, the only reason why he came back up here is because he was cut down south. But other than that, like, yeah, that is pretty much what I'm seeing from just about everybody. I mean, yeah, like, exactly. He's spot on. And he's he's very much the majority. Like, there are people out there who actually like these changes. There are people that actually like these changes. But there are other people that that don't want to see these changes. Me, I'm trying to keep an open mind. Right? So definitely going to an Argo game yearly since I don't live in Denver to watch the Broncos just get some football sticks. Goddamn right. Fucking come out more. Goddamn right. Come out more. Now, one other thing that has to be mentioned is the CJFL, so the Canadian Junior Football League. They have a statement that's already been done up, and this was done at 11:15 tonight, like today or tonight, whatever. So I'm just going to read this out. Message from the commissioner. So on behalf of the Canadian Junior Football League, I want to address the recent announcement by the Canadian Football League regarding their significant rules and field modifications set to be implemented over the next 2 seasons. The CJFL has a long and proud history as a key developmental pathway for Canadian football. Our mission is to provide an elite level of competition for young people up to age 22 and to help them grow both as players and as individuals. A significant part of this mission is to prepare our athletes for the next level, and for many that goal is to play in the CFL. We recognize the CFL's commitment to innovation and their desire to make the game as exciting and engaging as possible for fans. The proposed changes, which include field modifications and new approaches to scoring, are part of this vision. We respect their goal with improving the fan experience and believe that a strong CFL is beneficial for all levels of the sport in Canada. With this in mind, the CJFL will be undertaking a thoughtful and thorough review. This process will involve close collaboration with our board of directors, member teams, and coaches to carefully consider all the implications for our league. Our goal is to ensure the CJFL continues to be the premier destination for post-high school football in Canada, providing our athletes with the highest quality of competition and development. We will be considering all options to align our path forward in a way that serves our players and our community. We look forward to productive dialogue, which will provide further updates as we progress with our review. Okay, so that to me is a big thing. Now, one thing I need to take a look at, I'm going to see if I can find it, because I don't know if U Sports has made any sort of statement about this yet. I just want to see if they have. And if they have, I'll read it out. Because obviously the CJFL is... Oh, here we go. So U Sports has a statement about this. So this is U Sports regarding this as well. So if you don't know, U Sports is the Canadian college ranks. So I live in Waterloo, not even 5 minutes from the 2 main campuses of Laurier and University of Waterloo. So anyway, here we go. U Sports is aware of the announcement made by the CFL this afternoon regarding changes to its field dimensions and game rules. U Sports will begin engaging with our members and stakeholders over the following weeks and months to determine the ramifications for U Sports football and the best course of action for U Sports. Any proposed changes to football playing regulations will be considered by the Sport Technical Subcommittee for Football and the U Sports Sport Committee in due course, following the usual procedures in place. U Sports remains committed to promoting and growing the Canadian game of Canadian amateur football across Canada. So it's obvious that right now all the levels below the CFL are now going to be saying, "Hey, what the hell is going? Okay, so how do we fix this?" There we go. So it's obvious that anybody below on the pyramid is taking a look at this, and is going to take a very long and hard look at this to say, okay, do we change our fields? Do we change anything? Do we keep the rules as they are? Because realistically, the rules for the most part are going to stay the same. The rules are going to stay the same for the most part. The only things that are changing are going to be obviously the field, timing, and goalposts. Realistically, everything else, technically about the game, is going to be still the same. Like, you're still going to have the 12 guys you're still going to have the 12 guys. You're going to still have the 1 yard off. You're still going to have the 3 downs. You're still going to have everything else. Oh, here we go. Just a quick correction. International matches field lengths are generally between 1 to 120. CFL field. Oh, okay. All right. So there you go. Yeah. Generally 110 to 120. Adaptive soccer needs with. Oh, there you go. So cool. Thanks for the correction there, Maverick. Appreciate that. So yeah, so there's an awful lot to take in still. But like I said, based off of what I've seen, I know Nathan Rourke isn't. We obviously know Nathan Rourke isn't a fan. I actually found out that Damon Allen, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, he's not a fan of this either. I mean, I had a look on. A buddy of mine sent me a picture on Instagram about this. And it basically just kind of just said, and I quote from his Instagram here: "Thanks for explaining why the changes are happening. With all these changes, please change the CFL name while you're at it," with a crying laughing face emoji. Now, we all know Damon Allen's a bit of a dick. Hey, he is a bit of a dick, not gonna lie. But I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, generally people are absolutely pissed. And me personally, when I first heard that, the goalposts, like I said, goalposts I'm fine with, the benches I'm fine with, the Rouge I'm fine with, just about everything I'm fine with, except for the field. Because the optics are going to make it look like, to quote somebody on Reddit, makes it look like looks like the NFL on Diet NFL. Essentially the NFL with maple flavored aspartame. So, needless to say, if you're going to Grey Cup this year in Winnipeg, I'll be there. I think every year at Grey Cup, the go-to event is always the Spirit of Edmonton breakfast. I think this year it's going to be, if they even have it, the fan state of the league. Because you're going to hear an awful lot of pissed off people giving Stuart Johnston a piece of their mind. And it's going to be, and that to me is going to, I would have to try and get in there because I know I could easily go viral with some of the shit that people are going to start yelling at him for. I can see it now. I can see some crusty old bastard from Regina just absolutely tearing a strip off him. I could see my buddies out in Section O in Edmonton tearing a strip off him. I can see a couple of the Triple C's and a couple members of the Triple C's in the Argos fan base tearing a strip off him too. And just for the record, just for the record, there are I've read some of this on Reddit that there are fans blaming Toronto for this. First of all, Stones and Glass Houses, your owner approved this too. And secondly, go fuck yourself. Okay? It's I get it. MLSC's the punching bag because they're the richest kid on the block. I get it. I have my beef with MLSC. I'm not going to deny that. And just about everybody is going to have a beef with them now. Especially when the majority owner has been trying to kill the Toronto Argonauts for the last decade plus. But here's another thing to think about. Wasn't it just last week or 2 weeks ago that the Argos and Bills got into bed together? And all of a sudden this pops out? Coincidence? I don't know. Anyway. So that's me trying to rationalize all this. Been doing this for 45 minutes now? Like I said, I apologize for coming on late. Fucking work being a pain in my ass. But yeah, as the Canadian football as we know it, come the final whistle at Grey Cup is dead. A change is a-coming. And a lot of people aren't liking it. But unfortunately, we might just have to get used to it. Yeah, first Luke Wilson. Don't get me started on him. But he did initiate the thought of changes with the game being hot trash. Well, the game that he kind of rated as hot, that he said was hot trash, well, it was. It was dog, like there was dog shit. It was kind of dog shit, realistically, a little bit. But, I know the game last week with Montreal, that was pure dog shit football. Like I said in the Upon Sober review, no more people running into goalposts. Yeah. Yeah, no more. Yeah, with this, with this, you kind of say goodbye to people running into goalposts. The Cody Fajardo meme of him hitting the goalpost with the ball. And what a lot of people don't, and what some people, and another thing is missed field goal returns. Unless the ball is short. Which, knowing our kickers, especially if you get somebody like Sergio Castillo behind the ball, that's not good. This is, a lot of these guys just put their laces through it, man. So, some of the most exciting plays that we've seen in CFL history have been missed field goal returns. So, it's kind of that. So, it's kind of sad with that. And a lot of the records being 129-yard returns, those are, as of next year, as of 2 years from now, those are never going to be broken. Problem with the CFL is the same problem with the NFL and other pro sports leagues, dropping attendance numbers. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's because, and I'll tell you the exact reason why. Out in Saskatchewan especially, it's high ticket prices. Out in Toronto, it's high concession prices, as well as the traffic. Right? Attendance, although modestly up, in most cases, in the bigger markets, they've got, Saskatchewan has gone down huge because their ticket prices are, for what they get is obscenely high. I mean, Winnipeg, you can't fit any more in there. Hamilton actually has a good setup, and they're still getting high end numbers there. But I mean, ultimately, and changing the game to similar to the NFL is not the solution. No, it's not. It's not. But yeah, you're right. It's not. That's not the But the thing is, there's no one solution to change it. There are it could be part of, but we're not changing. But the game is not. I mean, just optically, the game is changing to look. It's gonna look different. We're still getting a lot of the same stuff that's still in the CFL right now. Right? That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, optically, in 2 years, the game is going to look similar to the NFL. And there's been online discourse where people have been saying, I'll go to the game if it looks closer to the NFL. Well, guess what? Put up or shut up, fucker. It's like, buy a ticket, go have a look. If you still don't, if you say, oh, if you want, I want it to be 4 downs, then fuck you, go away. Because we're not changing the number of downs. That's my red line. Like, a lot of people's red line have been crossed today. My red line is not there yet. My red line is if they go 4 downs. If it goes 4 downs, I will be saying goodbye to football. Straight up. Like I said, a lot of people have had red lines, and a lot of people have crossed them today. But like I said, for me personally, that red line hasn't been crossed yet. They're pushing the boundaries. Don't get me wrong. But it's not there yet. If Buddy's still commissioner in a couple of years and says we're putting in a 4th down, that's when my pitchfork, which is in my closet, is going to be coming out. And on top of that, I would not want to be my season ticket rep if that's the case. Because they would very much get a piece of my mind. And I'm pretty sure that today was a tough day for those people. Today was a tough day if you were a season ticket rep across the league. It doesn't matter where you were. Today was going to be today it was a hard day. And it's going to be I have a feeling that the rest of the week, rest of the month, and I think just about every day leading up until these changes actually hit. If you're a ticket rep for a CFL team, better have a thick skin. because there's an awful lot of pissed off people out there. An awful lot. And especially like like myself, I got a bit of gray in my beard now. I could consider myself a gray beard. I've been a season ticket holder for over 20 years. And the game has been tweaked to make it a little bit better. In some cases, a little bit worse. In some cases, things have been like ebb and flow, you know? I mean, to me, like, I always thought that, like, if they were going to roll something like this out, to me, they should have done this. Like, if they were going to roll something like this out, why not roll it out like preseason? At least that way everybody gets a look as to what's to come, you know? Make it a trial. So you don't necessarily, because at least that way, the fans get to see what's upcoming. The players can actually interact with it, you know? As opposed to just unilaterally saying, yeah, we're putting in these changes and there's not a damn thing you can do to change it. Not a goddamn thing you can do. It's going to be this, and that's it. Like there's a reason why prototypes, beta testing exists. We never saw a beta test with this at all. This was just unilateral change, and I think that's what pisses people off more. The fact that this was just unilaterally decided upon by the owners and is now being imposed by the owners onto not only the players, but the coaches, the management, everybody. Top-down thinking. I think that's what gets more people. I think that's more or less why people are pissed off. On top of losing the quirkiness of our league. But that's why I'm wearing the black shirt today. And I mean, who knows? In a couple of years, if they say we're going 4 downs, fair catch, we're taking a guy off, making it 11. We're narrowing the field. If they start going too far toward the NFL look, that's what I'm going to say. I'm out. And it starts with the 4 downs. To me, if they go 4 downs, that's it. And like I already said, I already went off on that. And I know for a lot, and like I said, I know for some of my friends who are also NFL fans, it's like a lot of them are liking these changes. A lot of them like it. Because it's one thing for tradition, but it's another thing because like I said, well, not like I said, but it's one thing for tradition, but you have to evolve eventually. If it doesn't work, change it back. You know? If it does work, great. But like I said, why didn't you beta test this? You know what I mean? Beta test the changes next year at preseason. No one's going to be watching anyway. Because the World Cup's going to be on. No one's going to be watching other than the people that are going to be in the stadiums. At least that way you can have a limited amount of eyes to say, say you're going to have, say for example, the Argos. They're going to be playing in Guelph, right? More than likely next season. Doing their preseason in Guelph again. Why not do it there? I mean, you could do the changes there just to give the fans a peek, give the players interactivity with the things, coaches, everything. See, Bondi's got the right idea here. In MLB, they did balls and strikes challenge system test in the spring training. That's my point. Evolving is something the NFL is not known for. Look to the UFL to see real change. And no, I agree with that. I mean, the NFL has been, if anything, they're doing anything and everything to go backwards. And you're right, the UFL is better. Let's face it. But anyway, what time is it? 1:42. Yeah, that's enough. I think that's going to be enough for me to ramble tonight. I think I got everything off my chest that I needed to. Gave Clay some ammo to use for the fan cast when they record that later. I think they're recording that tomorrow. I think him and Will are going to be recording the fan cast tomorrow, so gave them more ammunition so they could steal more content from me. I don't mind. I'm a co-host on that program anyway. So that's going to do it for me here. Hopefully I kind of helped get you through this, because I know there's, like I said, there's a lot of people pissed off. Hopefully like I said, I tried to rationalize it. Besides that, I don't know what else to do. Other than a good ramble, I'm going to post my own YouTube. Yeah, please do. Please do. Like, let the CFL see. Like, the CFL has to realize, and they have to see that, and I think a lot of sports leagues, not just the CFL, that, especially with football here, fans without football is nothing. Or football without fans is nothing. And this is true. Football without fans is nothing, especially for the CFL, which is a very heavily gate-driven league. So I think that could be another thing. With the TV deal upcoming, who knows? But anyway, so I'm gonna take off here. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully I was able to rationalize it for you. Hopefully I was able to give you a different perspective on things. But yeah, let the CFL know your displeasure. Don't go after them on social media, because it's just going to get lost in the wash. It's just going to get lost in the ether. Call your team's season ticket. Call your team's representatives. Be civil. Don't go on there, start saying, yeah, fuck this fucking league, blah, blah, blah. No, don't do that. Go in there, be civil, be calm, and let them know that you're not happy about these changes. If enough of us call, if enough of us let them know, they might go back on it. Just saying. Power to the people. As for the BC Lions game this week, unfortunately, like I said, I'm kind of working afternoons right now, so no live stream for the BC Lions game. 50-50 when it comes. It's kind of 50-50 when it comes to the instant reaction, but upon sober review as normal. So that's gonna do it for me here. Oh yeah, yeah. Good night. Yeah. This week is gonna be interesting with the rumor mill. No kidding. All right. Thanks, Mav. Well, have a good night, brother. As for the rest of you, have yourselves a good evening. We'll talk to you again soon. Cheers, everyone.